Hello. That's the first one on.
Hello.
Hey guys, welcome to Parlour Tea.
Yes, I'm so excited for tonight.
I just realized that our colors coincide with each other.
You just realized that we've talked about this before.
I don't know. Maybe I don't
Your
know.
attention span.
I know. I'm very short. Sorry.
So I'm super excited to bring Jay on, and we'll bring him on in a minute. But one of the great things that I love about the Parlour is that we meet really cool people. And
Absolutely.
this was a perfect storm example of one of those situations. Jay, his wife, and his daughter came into the shop, and we just happened to start talking about goth music and learned a lot about him, but I won't give it away. But it turns out we had one of our favorite bands in common. So let's bring Jay on. He can tell us all about what he does.
Hey, Jay.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Parlour Tea.
I appreciate it.
Welcome.
We appreciate you being a part of it.
Yes.
First off, I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity, and I really love your shop, and I can't wait to come down for a ghost tour. We're really excited for that. So
awesome. I've got some Christmas ghost tours coming up. I'll let you know when they are.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, our regular season is pretty much over, but there's always
spooky season, as John was saying. That's cool.
Yes. Spooky season gets very
busy. Season.
Our favorite season.
Absolutely.
Yes. It's the only season.
I'm already thinking about next year, so
I bet.
I got a 5-year plan.
That's awesome.
Where do you see yourself in 5 Halloweens? Oh, I know where. Yeah.
So Jay, why don't you tell people what you do, maybe the name of your band, what's going on, so people get a vibe of who you are, and then we'll work from there.
Okay. So my name is Jay Pevonis. I make industrial music under the name Doing the Devil's Work. I've been working on this project for probably close to a year, but I've been releasing music for like 8 months now. I released my first single, Coven, in late March. So I released a few singles after that, and then I released my full-length album, Ignition, in August. So I pretty much compiled a lot of my singles that I had up to that point, and then I added, I think it was 3 or 4 more tracks to make the full album. And then since then, I've released 2 singles, Temptation Pleases and Weaponized. And tomorrow I have another single. My newest single is going to be coming out, called Be Afraid. So I'm pretty excited about that one. So I hope everybody else is too.
To be honest with you, I find myself, when it comes to music, very eclectic. When it comes to, I think Genevieve can vouch. I can go from like total, pop all the way to classical, Broadway. I mean, every range of it.
Except when I have The Cure playing, he's like, "Oh, what is this?"
That's great. I myself am also pretty eclectic. I like a lot of different music. I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan. I dragged my daughter to see Bruce Springsteen last year. So I like a lot of heavier music. I was going back. I was in a lot of hardcore bands back in the late 90s, and it was just a fun time. I grew up in New Jersey, so we had a club called City Gardens, and in my high school
I love City Gardens.
Wasn't it great? It was like the best place ever.
Hi, Jay.
So I saw Fugazi there, and you name it. There were so many great bands, Shudder to Think and 7 Seconds, and all the great hardcore bands back then. And that kind of led me into starting bands on my own. I played guitar and sang in a band called Forge, 2 of my good friends, Mark and Keith. And we were kind of like Quicksand. I don't know if you're familiar with that band, Quicksand at all. Yeah, we were kind of like that style. And then that evolved, and I got into another band called Handful of Dust with another friend of mine, Jason Caddick, and my friend Keith also played in that band. And we were more like metalcore, but then we started to incorporate a lot of the industrial, stuff that I was into, and the singer Jason, he was into a lot of industrial music too. So we kind of headed in that direction. And it was funny, we didn't get signed, but we got on a Moo Cow Records put out a 7-inch for us, and the guy agreed to put us on, for the 7-inch. It was a split with another band from Florida. And we went in the studio and recorded our songs. And he had no idea we were going to incorporate all the electronic elements and stuff. And, we had like screamy vocals and a lot of synthesizers and things going on, and kind of like blew his mind up. But that kind of, opened the door for a lot of different industrial stuff for me and going forward. Well, but I started out, my musical background, like what really was a life-changing thing for me was when I saw Depeche Mode Violator tour. I was like, and Knights of Reb opened up, and Jesus and Mary Chain. Yes. My cousins,
I was there.
Older cousins took me to that one. Yeah, that's great, at the Meadowlands, a giant stadium. So that was like a huge like turning point for me as far as music. That really got me into the whole, alternative music scene, and it led to The Cure and New Order and all those bands, and Joy Division became New Order, of course. But that was basically a big turning point for me.
Yeah, I like I said, I didn't hear, so I listened to some of them. The ones that stood out to me was Coven, of course, because
Coven.
I just thought it was great. I really did it. I think it's got a great vibe going on over there. And Not Dead is also another one that I thought was really like I related to because I liked it.
Awesome.
Good.
Thank you.
John said to me, he's like, I don't know what industrial music is. And I was like, I play it in the store.
All the time,
right,
bro.
but you have to understand something. When you said industrial music, it was just kind of weird. Like everything had categories before, but then everything, I don't even know if that was a name of a category till like later on.
No,
like
in the 90s.
Skinny Puppy and Ministry, a lot of those bands that laid the groundwork for, Throbbing Gristle and, a lot of the older bands kind of ushered in the term, I guess. And
Nine Inch Nails, I feel like, was like the most.
They really, Trent like blew it open. Obviously, he blew the doors off, as far as that goes. And obviously, he's a big influence on my sound. I get that sometimes. And Depeche Mode, and obviously, and Covenant, another huge influence. Suicide Commando. I have so many influences. It's like out of control.
Did you see that Covenant is playing Dark Horse Fest this year?
And I'm so excited because I have not seen them. I meant to see them a couple times and I missed them, but I'm really, I got my tickets already. I'm so psyched for that. The whole lineup is amazing.
It's amazing.
It's just gonna be crazy. How Job's playing, and I'll get to see Suicide Commando again, which is great. And I've seen How Job before. They're awesome. I'm really excited to see them again. There's just so many great bands in that lineup, and a lot of newer bands that I've gotten into. Circuit Preacher. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Yeah, from Virginia. He's really great. I saw him in Easton, Pennsylvania. They played a show out there, and I met him. Tyler, really nice guy, and I'm excited to see them again. And Disexual. Are you familiar with them too? They're really great. I think they're out of LA, but they're amazing. I can't wait to see them. So that's exciting.
I'll go down a whole rabbit hole of geeking out over music, so I'll let Tony ask the question.
Totally.
We'll just sit here and talk about our favorite bands for an hour.
Yeah, exactly. And Snakes of Russia. Not that I'm wearing the shirt, but Joe Holiday, he's amazing. Like his death beats, like he's just groundbreaking as far as I love his style.
So besides all of those bands that you guys were talking about and how much you love them, but besides that, I'm sure your influences were from that. But where else do you get your influences to try to do music or make music or?
Yeah, not to cut you off, John. Yeah, so mainly I get this beats and horror. That's kind of like a little hashtag I use because I really use a lot of horror movie samples and that kind of and some sci-fi movies. Not as much sci-fi, but I love sci-fi and horror. But John Carpenter, huge influence. For the soundtrack work he does. Every movie, Christine, the Thing, Halloween, obviously. The list goes on. To Prince of Darkness is like my favorite Carpenter movie, and anything Stephen King. I like a lot of older horror movies like The Changeling with George C. Scott.
Love The Changeling.
Great movie, right?
Yes.
Burnt Offerings,
The
Oliver Reed and Karen Black. Yeah, I like a lot of the more spiritual. The I don't like as much of the slasher stuff as I do the more psychological, type of thriller stuff, and those type of movies are great.
Remember Dressed to Kill?
Oh yeah.
That's great too.
Yeah.
A great
So what I
movie.
do is I'll get samples from movies. I watch movies all the time. I mean, I'm ingrained in it. You know, my wife and I and my daughter, we got her watching all the horror movies too. She loves them, which is great. So but
Excellent.
basically I'll get,
Excellent.
yeah, right. So basically I'll get a sample from movie I'm watching, whatever, and I get my ideas, and it kind of like just, you know, turns into gets the whole vibe of the song going. You know, I kind of get the sample in my head. I'm like, okay, where am I going with this? And then I'll get on my, you know, I'll get into my DAW, into my digital audio workspace, and I'll just start coming up with, you know, synth sounds and things like that, and just get the ball rolling with that. And then it kind of just goes on from there. And then I bring the guitars in later. That's another step in the process. And then the vocals are always last. You know, I always write the lyrics and vocals last, because I feel like the songs kind of write themselves. You know what I mean? You're kind of like painting this picture, you know, and I kind of write, a lot of the songs are about, like Not Dead, for instance. I sampled The Serpent and the Rainbow, you know, Wes Craven movie.
Yeah.
That's where I got, Don't Let Them Bury Me, I'm Not Dead. I always love that movie. And that's why I kind of wrote it about voodoo and kind of, you know, and that kind of went with that vibe. And Coven was basically about the Salem witch trials, you know, Burn the Witch, you know, Blind Your Eyes, you know, it wasn't like, it was just telling the story of, you know, I sampled The Crucible, obviously, in that, you know, great movie, Daniel Day-Lewis, phenomenal movie. So it just kind of paints the picture, you know, and you kind of just get things going that way.
So that's one of the things that I'm always intrigued with a lot of the electronic music projects, like these industrial acts. It's a one-man show, basically. And it always blows my mind because I'm not musically inclined. I love music. I listen to music all the time, but I'm not a musician by any stretch of the imagination. And it kind of boggles my mind how you do each individual part and then put that all together to make this cohesive, amazing sound. And that just, I have so much respect for that.
Thank you. And that's like a testament to technology, because you couldn't do this years ago. I mean, Richard Patrick from Filter said it, you know, on one of their old, you know, documentaries they did. And he was like, you know, in the future, people are going to be doing this on a laptop. And he's right. Like, that's what it's become. Like, I have a laptop, you know, and then everything gets done. You're just building the sounds, and the technology has just come so far. You use these plugins, you know, they're called synth plugins, basically. And you can use hardware. I also use, you know, hardware synthesizers, which are the actual synthesizers themselves. But a lot of the plugins are the programs that are in there. And as long as you have a MIDI controller, you can run everything off the, you know, all the plugins off the MIDI controller. And then basically you just build this, you build the song.
I can.
Yeah. It came with experience. And I was always a guitar player, and I recorded a lot with other bands. And I kind of learned, you know, the skill kind of doing it that way. And then years ago, I did another project, Believe in Silence, where I got good with Ableton. It was another program, and I actually got a virus and lost all my stuff. So now I made sure I backed everything up. I use another program called Reaper now. But yeah, basically everything gets done. It's a lot easier. But yeah, when it comes to, like, one guy can do it in the studio, okay? So, but now you want to play live. So that's my next step. I'm going to probably be playing in the new year, probably in 2025. And I have a couple friends, Ken and Randy, that are in another band I play bass in called Cinema Star. Really good friends of mine. They're going to play, one's going to play guitar, and the other's going to run the keyboards and synthesizers for me and the whole show back there. And I'll just basically be singing. So that's pretty much how I'll bring it to the stage, you know, to the live set. And we'll just, you know, practice in a rehearsal studio, get all the levels going, and then go that route. So that's my plans for 2025, to get the live show going, and also set up a Bandcamp. I've been really lazy, so I need to set up a Bandcamp account and maybe get some, you know, some t-shirts and some merch ready, and start getting some stuff out to people, you know, that way.
Yeah, definitely. If you're going to play live, t-shirts and stuff are really good.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So besides the guitar, right? You said you played the guitar. Is there any other instruments that you play?
I played violin and cello when I was very young.
Oh, wow.
In elementary school. And the funny part is, I played violin and cello, but when it came to, I had a good ear for music. But when it came to reading music, can't do it. Can't read music. I've always just been, you know, self-taught and used my ear. So when it started to get pretty serious back in elementary school, when they were like have me read music, and I would just clam up and be like, oh, I can't do it, you know? So
Yeah.
there's different types of people that are just musically inclined where they can just, you know, read music and sheet music and play piano. I am not that person. I want to really start learning how to play piano. That's my next goal. But I can play drums a little bit. I can do drums okay, hold beats and stuff, nothing extravagant. But the guitar is my main instrument. And then, you know, the synthesizers it's not really playing piano per se. I mean, certain, you know, lines you come up with will be piano-esque, but it's mainly you're doing a lot of the bass lines and things like that. And the atmospheres, you know, the different pads that you bring in and just building sounds. Really, you're just building a wall of sound. You know, you're just starting out with, you know, one sound into another sound into another sound. That's kind of how I approach it. I mean, everybody's does things differently, you know.
Because when it was funny when you said synthesizer, I automatically, you know, those old like, and you know, that kind of machinery. And I'm like, oh, he plays the piano.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, it's a lot of people can. Some people can, and some people really can't. They just kind of, you know, I'm more of a programmer, you know. In essence, a lot of times these industrial bands will be like, so and so does the programming, you know, and that's pretty much what you're doing, you know.
But you do the vocals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I do everything pretty much.
You? Like, is there ranges in your vocal? Like, is it just?
I kind of have a higher vocal, really. I feel like I always had a high vocal, but I kind of, you know, someone put two types of musicians do a couple. That's great. That's exactly. I mean, that's it in a nutshell, basically.
Yeah.
You know, people can hear music, and some people can, you know, do great things with it and write compositions, and that's a whole nother animal, and that's so admirable, you know. And
I'm lucky I write my name right. Yeah. Yeah. I got it. But yeah, no. I think it might be really very interesting to try to, you know, elongate your vocals and sort of add that kind of thing. And I find it very interesting that I mean, like, I love old horror. I love old horror. I do like the old black and whites, but I do like the old horror. I'm a mostly that like 80s, 90s kind of horror I'm stuck on.
Yeah, I'm just stuck in the early 90s in general.
Yeah. I mean, I get some of the other ones. Some of them are good.
Yeah.
Some of them are just like,
I agree.
Yeah. Like that Night of the Demons was that.
Yeah.
It was so stupid, but it was probably on my top 20.
A lot of the 80s, like I was an 80s kid, so a lot of the Friday the 13th and all that was all a big thing. And Nightmare on Elm Street, you know, it's my wife's favorite. Nightmare on Elm Street, that's like our fave.
Halloween.
But, yeah, Halloween's are great. Yeah. There's so many great movies out there. Yep.
Those are great. I mean, I love watching them. I watch them all the time. I mean,
oh yeah.
Constantly.
I like the classics too. The Universal monsters, obviously, you know, the Lugosi and, you know, and Karloff. I mean, those are the best. You know, they're
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh yeah, totally. Those are the pioneers. Yeah, the pioneers right there.
Yeah, I mean, the funny part is that, you know, it wasn't even like, you know, some of them had really like undertones that really resonated back then, but they still resonate right now.
Totally.
You know, the bully, the beating up, the one that doesn't look good to have anybody to love.
Frankenstein, right? Yeah.
Yep.
That's my favorite. Like the tragic monster. I will always
Frankenstein. There's my Frankenstein.
Nice.
Gotta love that. Yeah.
But like even the Shape of Water was beautiful.
Oh, such a beautiful film.
Totally.
I mean, that movie was just, you saw past what you were supposed to see. Yeah. And when you saw past it, there was the beauty.
I always see past it. Like I would totally have.
Like I agree. I see those. Pan's Labyrinth, like all those.
Yeah, I would have married the Phantom of the Opera.
Totally.
There you go.
There she is. There she is, my sister Jillian.
Oh, hi. I met her.
Yes, you did.
Yep.
So, what are some of the projects that like you have? Like, I'm sure you're one of those that just write down some of the stuff like that you want to do in the future. Is there? I know that there is a song dropping tomorrow, but is there any other like things that are coming down the pike besides going live and doing performances so people can get a chance to see you perform it live? But is there other album ideas that are?
Basically, I don't outline stuff really. I'm not a big outliner, and I know some people do that. They'll write a lot of lyrics ahead of time. A lot of people do that, like poetry. They'll write their lyrics ahead of time. I've never kind of approached it that way. I always kind of had the music first, and then I'll come up with the lyrics and stuff later. But as far as that goes, I pretty much just go like single to single, song to song. I just kind of get like tomorrow I'll drop this song, and then I'll wait a little while, let it get out there and do its thing. And then, just get inspiration again from another sample. I'm actually having some ideas now. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag.
No, that's good. I
do have some creative ideas though. As to your query, John, like I do, because, the brain starts going, like what can I do next,
Well, you had said that you liked sci-fi.
Yes.
It's not your top, of course, horror. That's the same with me. But there are some great, sci-fi kind of movies that are out there. What are some of the ones that you like?
I mean, Alien, obviously, it's got the whole sci-fi horror thing nailed right there. That was like the benchmark right there.
Absolutely.
But I sampled Dark City. I love that. That's a great movie. I sampled that for my The Machines, the song I have. So an opposing influence on The Machines. That's from that movie, and it kind of like led me in a direction to get that one rolling. Mad Max, like all the Mad Max movies, like
those are good.
Bury the Needle. The song Bury the Needle I did was all Mad Max samples, and kind of just took me in that direction. That one meant more of like a Static X, type of vibe, like a faster Rob Zombie type of style, Ministry, in that realm. So I like to try to switch it up. Like the song that's coming out tomorrow, Be Afraid, it's slowed down, a little more of a slowed down track for me, and a little bit darker, I feel like. And that's loosely based on like the Amityville horror. Like it's about a house, that basically is evil, or it could be like burnt offerings, stuff we love, like just an inherent, evil house, like open the door, let them in, like it's kind of like the vibe I went for with that one. So hopefully that resonates with people and they kind of enjoy it. I'm having a good response from people. I'm just happy people are listening to my music, and that's a really rewarding thing. It's going
I get that.
as far as that goes.
So where can they find your music? Go ahead, John. Sorry.
The one thing I say, did you ever see the movie Them?
Yes.
I love that movie. That Day of the Triffids. Oh, love those. But what I say is I understand what you mean. Like someone comes out and appreciates your work. Sometimes, you have artists that, they don't realize that, people bought their items. As soon as someone buys it, you're an artist. That you're done. You're
an artist before that.
Who?
Nice.
You're an artist even if someone doesn't buy it.
No, I'm just saying, like, like
it's rewarding though. It
is rewarding, and that you should revel in that, because
thank you.
There are people that are out there that, if you put it out there, they always say that you put it out there, people are going to come. I think that people have to, if you don't take a chance and you don't actually make those connections, and you don't do what you want to do in life, I don't feel that you're going to ever be happy.
I agree. I've never been happier than what I'm doing right now, this project, because I'm doing it by myself. And like you were saying about came from a lot of bands, in the past, and everybody tries to collaborate and bring their take on what you want to do to a song or the band's image or where you're going, and creates a lot of animosity. Musicians by nature, we're a little nutty,
Artists by nature in general, I would say.
Totally. It's a whole, and it's hard you clash because everybody wants to get their influence in and their, take on things. But as far as this project, it's been the most rewarding because I've done it on my own, and it's been a lot of fun, and I'm getting the music out and people are listening, which is rewarding. And I'm just happy about it, definitely.
What's the best part?
On that note, I'm hoping this is the correct Instagram, Doing the Devil's Work.
Yeah, totally.
I want everyone to go and check it out. Is that the only place where people can hear your music?
No.
Yes, currently I'm pretty lazy. Like I said, I need to start a Bandcamp, so eventually I'll get that rolling. But as of right now, just Instagram, doing the devil's work is.
Yeah, but I just purchased some of the songs that were on iTunes.
Yeah, it's on all streaming services basically.
Okay.
It's on Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, you name it, Amazon. You can basically find it. That's where my digital distributor gets all the music out to, basically.
That's good. Good.
Yeah, it's out there in the realm.
I mean, like, I understand what you're saying. Like, there's so many people that have their hands in a pot, and you don't feel like you're getting your point across, so you settle just because it keeps it the
yes.
Thing. But like,
it's a definite democracy.
Well, I'm gonna say this. That's partly why I am no longer in my environment, but I had the privilege of meeting Genevieve. And
wait a minute, you're no longer with me?
No, I am. My last environment, I felt that way. I just settled for something. But when me and Genevieve met, and we hit it right off, and I just feel like we're all successful. It's the parlor successful. Like,
yeah,
totally.
One of us is, then we all are.
Yes.
And each of us brings something so specific to the group that it's not competition, it's synchronicity.
Not infringing on anybody else's. That's the best part.
Yeah,
like I don't infringe on her witchy thing. And Danny, I don't infringe on Danny. I was told I was his muse, so we're okay there. But like,
he knocked me right off the list of being his muse.
That's great.
And then Rick's art and things that he does is totally different than the dynamics that Danny brings to the table. So it's like four different corners, and we're all molded into one. But what I mean is
bigger, like the energy becomes bigger than just the
four. You're
it's
a force multiplier.
Specific.
Yeah, you all get together and just help each other out, and you're successful together. That's a great thing.
And the best part of the whole thing is that since we're new to this environment, we were able to, it wasn't a pass or fail. It was just a learning experience that no matter what I brought to the table or Genevieve brought to the table, we tried it. If it worked, great. If it didn't, I didn't have somebody go, well, told you I did it already. But we got a chance to move forward together, or
that's great.
Just learn from a mistake.
And I can tell by your guys' podcast that you have a great relationship. You could tell your Sunday services. I watch, all your
we're like
stuff.
Brother and sister.
Yeah, that's great. You guys have.
People think we're married.
You guys have a great time.
Funny. That was funny.
That's really funny.
You want to tell them? That's funny. You could say it.
No, we're not gonna go. We're not gonna.
Oh, I'm gonna do it anyway. So there was a neighbor that actually there's apartments that live above our store, and this lady, I'm out looking at TikTok, and they go, she goes, your wife. There was a neighbor upstairs, and I go, my wife?
Referring to me. Referring to me.
I said, my wife's home, and she has a penis.
That's great.
And then I'm like, she's like, I thought you were the lady with the black hair was your wife. I said, no, but you want to talk to her, honey.
Honey, come here.
But I just thought it's fun. Listen, my sense of humor is. I
can't afford to be married to you, John. You're very expensive.
Very bougie.
I don't hear no.
That's great.
No. I mean, I bring certain things like to our environment, but I'm the one that does the social media pieces, and I'm the one that is like they'll go, there's people in here, and I don't understand. Like, you get this thrive and this excitement when you're putting something together. I love when people come in the store and get an opportunity to allow me to talk about the pieces and see the beauty, because I take them on little tours, because we don't get people a lot, but it's not like you get 400 people in at once. I get installment of pieces, but when they get asked specific questions about, like, spell work or whatever, or I need this or a cleansing, then I pass it off, and then I go to another person. I don't.
That's great.
We really, and I know that people probably say, well, we all do that. I don't consider people as customers when they come in the store.
I didn't get that
actually
feeling at all.
consider-
That was
we
when we came.
always-
Genevieve was amazing. Like she same thing. Walked us around, gave us a little tour, and explained all this stuff, all the haunted artifacts and things, and I just loved it. Yeah, the whole
Yeah,
experience.
we're proud of the experience. We're
And
proud
now
of
we're best friends.
Yep. There you go.
But the best part of the whole thing is that when we do this, we never think of anybody as a customer. We think of them as a guest in our home, because
Yeah.
that was
That's
the
exactly how we
illusion.
felt. I can't. You
Oh, that
nailed
makes
it.
me happy.
That makes,
Definitely.
yeah, we
My wife and daughter,
really
we were like, it was like we'd been there before, and like met. It was just so funny. My saying how we were nerding out on all our bands and stuff. She's like cracking up. She's
Well,
like,
I'm
you met your
excited
buddy.
about that.
So
Like,
funny.
I was
How long has the store been open? I'm sorry, real quick. Just
2 years.
2
Just-
years. Okay.
Yep.
Congratulations. That's great.
and it's getting more notoriety, and people know about it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The funny part is that when you start to do this and you're out there a little bit more, and people do hear your music like we did, like I did. and
Perhaps we
Genevieve,
play it at
I
the
think
parlor.
and we play it at the parlor and stuff. I think it's great. And I was walking down the street to go get something up the block, and someone goes, "Hey, excuse me," and I'm like, "Yeah," and she goes, "I love your podcasts," and I was like, "Oh,
That's
God."
great.
And I was like, "Really?" And she goes, "Yeah, you got to keep doing them. They're fun. They're interesting. They're funny. We do Sunday morning, Sunday
Your
services.
Sunday services. I
Yeah,
love it.
we talk about stuff that's up and coming, and we're welcome to ideas and thoughts from
Your shop wouldn't be out of place in Salem, Massachusetts. That's for sure.
Oh, we're
But
aware
it's
of
great.
that.
But it's great that you're here because it's almost too much up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's
you
been
know,
like-
there's so many ghost tours and there's so much
Yeah.
to do. You kind of get inundated, but you have
I
a
would
very
like-
unique setting there in Keyport. It's great.
I would like for Keyport to be like the New Jersey version of Salem without the hangings.
right.
That's why I
Not the
can't wait
witch
to go on
trials.
your ghost tour to learn about the hauntings in the area and the history, because I don't really know enough about it. And I have to thank my Uncle Dave, because he told me, I was at my cousin Sarah's house. She lives in Keyport, and he's like, "Oh, you got to go to the shop. You guys will love it." We were at her house, and he's like, "It's called the Parlor." And I was like, "Yeah." And he was going to actually come with us, but he couldn't find parking. So he's like, "Just go and enjoy it." And that's the day we went. And thank God he told us, because
I'm glad he
we
did.
had great
because
friends, and I love the place. Is amazing,
Wondering if we know Sarah.
you might.
We probably do.
Yeah, you probably do.
But the best part is that you never get everybody that comes in always comes back. Everybody always turns around and it becomes part of something.
Spooky Port. I love that.
Well, we always feel like we get so excited. We always want to put something out there. Like this Saturday, we have someone that's coming by the name of Mallory B. White, and she's part of the Dark Amethyst Moon. If you haven't heard of her, look her up. Your wife, great jewelry, awesome. But we're doing how to cleanse your crystals and so on and so forth with the crystals, and how to re-energize them and stuff. But then we're doing Calling of the Beyond, which is on the 29th, that we're doing a who, what, where seance at our store, that our historian Sarah Blake from Twin Crow Tarot, she's coming in, and you get to utilize the tools that they started off with all the way up to modern style.
Oh wow, that's
tools.
awesome.
We're doing
That's
like,
really cool.
our windows have become a big staple in the town of Keyport, so everybody loves it.
Yeah,
They
the
come in and they go,
displays, yeah.
"It's been too long. When are you changing it?" So
That's great.
we're marketing towards November 30th.
Okay.
Doing the big unveiling of it, which was really
Switching it up a little. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So let's wait. I have a few other questions for Jay too before
Sure. Yep. We're not going.
'Cause we're always on.
I just like to throw a couple shout outs out real quick if I could.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just before, Genevieve, I'm sorry.
Sure.
So I met a guy named Brian from Severed Skies in Virginia, really nice guy. I just want to throw a shout out to him. He's been really supportive of my music, and I'm trying to be supportive of his also. And another guy named Peter from Hex VHS. He's a great guy. He put together this collaboration, a compilation, basically like the old Metropolis Records ones that used to come out like in the 90s and Cleopatra. So he put a lot of bands together for that. So I want to give him. And Agent Center is a guy who I met from Ohio. He's got great music. He was actually, I had him guest on my album. He sings on the song Angels Will Fall. So all great people. So I just wanted to throw a shout out. And my coworkers really support me. I wanted to throw it out to these guys. They're really supportive. My boss has Bury the Needle as his alarm on his phone and stuff. One of my songs. That's really cool. And my coworker Jamil actually gave me one of the samples for that song, Bury the Needle. He was watching Ghostbusters. He's like, hey, they put Buried the Needle. It was in the movie. And so I was like, all right, let me throw it in there because I didn't release the song yet. And I actually got it in there. So he was psyched about that. So, but all great friends I have at work and very supportive guys.
Awesome.
So, but sorry, yeah.
No, don't be sorry. That's great. I love that you did that. So your next single's coming out tomorrow. Yes. I want to get back to that real quick. What was your inspiration for that one?
That was basically, I sampled the movie and it's Should I Be Afraid, that sample in the beginning, and it just kind of built up this tension, and I was like, where am I going with this? And then I sampled, and I hate to say about all these samples, but whatever, it is what it is. I sampled the Amityville Horror, it's a passage to hell. I try to use samples of movies that scared the heck out of me when I was a kid.
Yes,
like,
that's important.
Yes, like This Fallen Heart is The Exorcist, I Am the Devil, when she says that, like, that's just like one of the scariest lines ever in a movie. And then It's a Passage to Hell, Cover It. That just scared the life out of me. So I'm like, I threw that in there, and then it just kind of led me in that direction. I'm going to write it about a scary house, basically, or, and I try to write my songs from the victim's point of view, let's say, like This Fallen Heart's about the person who got possessed, let's say, and they're trying to, come back and cleanse their spirit and everything. So kind of try to go that route, just telling stories basically.
So I was gonna say, like, that's one of my favorite things about really good music is that there's sort of like little snapshots of stories or little poetry, little short little poems and stuff. I think that's magnificent, and I love the way that music can kind of put you in that time and space and bring you right back around to that exact moment 10 years later.
Totally, exactly. And things that change your life, and now I'm at my age, I can bring things back, like you said, that you can bring back in later, and just things that changed you and made you who you are and brought you to the darkness, into this horror life that we live. It just, I couldn't live without it. It's just who I am. The goth, the whole goth thing is just, it's just all about the darkness and the music, and just it's just the whole vibe. It's just
the beauty in the darkness too.
It really is.
Darkness, all of the beautiful things that wait for us in the dark.
Absolutely.
Yep. And my cats, I couldn't live without my cats. One of my faithful cats is right here. So Elvira's hanging out with me.
Oh, your cat's name is Elvira?
Yeah, Elvira and Cinder. Those are my two cats. Great
if the cats are accessible, they are free to join the video.
I don't want to drop my iPad, but I do it around.
No, that's okay. That's okay. No pressure.
No problem.
So do you, when you're doing your album, do you do the lineup as it's telling a story, or do you just put it out there, whatever you feel should be first? Is there a way you sort of configure your album?
That's a great question. When I did my album in August, I used my first song was called Sleep, and I basically sampled John Carpenter, Prince of Darkness, and it just kind of, I made it as an intro track, and then it kind of went so well into This Fallen Heart, the way it was like, this is not a dream, this is not a dream, and I am the devil. It's just like, it worked. I didn't even plan it, but it just kind of worked out really nicely. And way I did my album was I laid out newer songs, and I did a few songs earlier on when I was working on stuff. I used a lot of free software and free VSTs, which weren't as good as the newer stuff I'd paid for and things like that. so they weren't like the strongest tracks, that I'd made. And
Mm.
I think a lot of artists do that. I don't know, they call them filler tracks sometimes, but I don't feel like every track's as strong as the others, but you do your best, to try to. I feel like the flow went pretty well. I didn't really have much of a plan, but I was kind of happy when I listened back, and I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds good the way things kind of went through each other, and joined, through the chain, of the album. So good question.
I love that. Oh, good. Thank you. But I just always loved that, a musician or a band or singer or whatever you want to be called, no matter what genre, I believe that their storytelling is done as a story, and it's how you set it up. But not every artist does that.
No, you're right.
Throw it on, and it
Dark
is
Side of the Moon.
is.
I mean, that album, from Pink Floyd was like
an opera.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many classics out there like that.
I mean, The Cure just waited 16 years to release an album.
Yeah. Yep.
But I like the story. I like to hear a story. I like to mentally do it through my head. Someone's vision of what this really was supposed to be. Not just a collaborative 12 songs or 8 songs and throw them on.
Yeah.
And then you go in here and you go in there. I think it all should bleed properly together. But
yeah, I just feel like for me, it's just kind of like it's telling the horror story, whether it goes, and the song Crusades, the third track is basically about the Crusades, the Catholic Crusades, and I kind of went that route with that. And I went off topic with certain things, and, basically the samples kind of get me rolling in the right direction. The Machines is about, it could be about a lot of things, but I kind of don't like to put too many political or religious ideals on things, because you don't really want to offend people too much. That's why I'm just telling stories, basically. And I don't really take that aggressive approach. Some people are very, political about things and stuff like that. And
but I think it's also important though to keep it in a way that like everyone's going to have their own interpretation of what that music means to them.
Exactly.
If it's got a very specific tone, that might not resonate the same way.
You nailed it. Like you nailed it. Like, even like when I listen to some of my songs, I don't even know what I'm writing half the time. It just comes out, with the melody and everything, and I just get in the zone, and then you listen back and you're like, okay, this could be about this, or it could be about that. It could be about different things. And that's music for me has always been about interpretation of what I feel about it. You know what I mean? And some music is so emotional and makes you just like VNV Nation, Perpetual. Like I can't get through that song without crying. Like it like gets so emotional, like I even just talking about it, there's certain songs that you just
resonate. And there's certain
I was crying on the dance floor at QXT's when Tom Shear was singing December.
Yeah. Yep. And just
but I get that, like, when you have like certain songs or certain notes or certain like, instruments can make you feel and very inspired. But there's also ones that'll make you like, I cry at the drop of a hat. It would be over.
Me too. I'm a very emotional person. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and like it's crazy. Like my daughter laughs. Like I'll cry. She's like, why are you crying? Like, because it's an emotional song. Like it's just some things hit you that way. And not everybody though is like that. People that are really into music, I think, get that way. Some people I get it from watching movies or reading. I get it from movies also. They get you. But that's it.
Yes. From my hands.
Yep.
Got a song.
VNV.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I see VNV Nation, it's like a religious experience for me.
Oh, yes. So. He was amazing live. Roman's like amazing. Yeah, Roman. He's the best.
But there's certain things like I get that. I totally agree with you. It's just, someone's depiction of something is totally different than someone else's.
Totally.
It should be that way.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like, someone's beauty is different in every single person.
Oh yeah.
And you could sit there and say, oh, there's beauty in flowers or a sunset, but then there's beauty in death and
Yes,
you know,
I agree.
animal bone or a lot.
Architecture and
Yes,
everything. Yeah.
absolutely. You see it however way, but like I consider myself an empath. So I feel things that are either not just through a song, but through the person's voice or the person that's performing the whatever they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a different vibe for me that I feel the energy of what it really supposed to be, not this lighthearted kind of thing that other people might just say, "Oh, it's about this." Like
Well,
I feel it different.
that's one of the things that I always wonder about artists too. Like you have musicians that are playing songs, like Sinead O'Connor is like one of the ones that sticks out in my mind. The songs that she sang were so incredibly emotional.
Jackie, like one of my
Jackie
favorite
or
songs, like
Troy.
unbelievable. Yep.
Troy
Yeah.
still knocks the wind out of me.
Oh yeah.
But how do you go about doing that all the time? Do they put themselves back in that same emotional state each time
I
they're
know.
singing it?
I don't know how you like people like her that have that emotional connection to their music. I don't know how you could singing it night after night. Imagine being on tour and having the toll that takes on you.
Or even like I'm like one of the craziest Cure fans in the world. I've loved them since I was 16, and going to see them, they play 3-hour shows.
Oh yeah,
every night.
Yep.
There's got to be something so valuable coming back from that.
Oh yeah,
from that audience.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Euphoric.
Yeah, I can't imagine. That's why they do it, right? That's the high you get. That's Even I miss playing live, and I hopefully will be playing soon, like I said, and get that feeling again. But just to play even for 10 people, it doesn't matter. It's you're performing your songs, and it means something to you, and you hope it means something to someone else. And that's what it's all about. And that's the legacy you can leave. And pass on. That's really the trick of it, I guess.
How you had said, Genevieve, before that, like, to constantly play the same thing over and still have the same meaning come across.
Yeah.
There's artists that you could see that they go from this tragic thing, and then you could see the difference the change. There's a change. And once they go over that change, they cannot go, it doesn't sound or feel the same.
No, you're right. And that's why artists
anymore.
A lot of times fail, because they try to change maybe their, like you said, their personalities change, their life has changed.
Yep.
And they do something different. They go in a different direction with a sound, and they try something different, and you don't get that passion, back that you.
But sometimes
the example is Depeche Mode. I love them to my dying day, but after Songs of Faith and Devotion, they kind of lost me a lot. I saw them many times on that tour, and and it was after that I'd seen them only a handful of times after that, because every album didn't have the passion for me that they had originally, and there'd be a song here or there, but I feel like Martin's songwriting just got a little weaker in my eyes.
It's the phenomenon it's the struggling artist phenomenon, right? Like when you're struggling, every second counts.
Totally.
And all of that angst and all of that emotion is
and there's a lot of pressure on you too and you have to keep coming out with albums and hit albums, and keep people listening, and keep the fans happy. But you have to be happy yourself.
Sorry, I think there's only one person I could possibly think of, and I know that this is totally not the norm, but I think Taylor Swift actually does exactly what she put herself out there to do. She does all these different genres all at the same time. So if there's anything she could fall upon, it's nothing out of her norm.
She kind of touches on everything. Yeah, she's got an eclectic style.
I don't think I know a single song of hers.
Yeah, but there's a song in there that's very, very like witchy.
I don't think if you played Taylor Swift right now, I don't think I'd be able to pick it out of a lineup.
I think I might know a couple. Just my daughter.
Well, I mean, because
that makes sense.
She's not a huge fan either, though. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I respect her.
Oh, I respect her too.
Yeah,
she's an amazing businesswoman as well as an artist.
Oh yeah, she's got it going on as far as that goes. She's definitely got it licked. And
but
so real quick too.
Yeah, sure.
Assemblage is putting out a new album, right?
So exciting. That's awesome.
Well,
Yeah, I just saw that the other day.
Tom is like the best. Yeah, he's great.
This is a really good question. When you become big, who would you want to open up for you?
Oh, geez. That's a tough question, but I don't think I'm going to become big, but I don't know.
You gotta remember, it's all about manifestation.
Yeah, it's funny because, you get Kiss, Kiss that was opening up for, Blue Oyster Cult, and then, then Blue Oyster Cult was opening for them, like, not to quote Detroit Rock City, but that's a great movie. And it's true. Like, sometimes bands get big, and then they're like, the bands that they were opening for wind up open. It's so crazy. But I don't know. I don't know if I could really put a finger on that without offending someone, or like, like.
I don't think it's offending. I think it's kind of aspiring to think that you're going to be up, and it's always, sometimes people lose. Like,
there are people I love to play shows. There's definitely people I love to play shows with, like Severed Skies, like I said, from Virginia. I'd love to play with him, and Circuit Preacher. And there's so many, contemporary, artists that are just really great right now, and there's a band from LA too called Sleek Teeth. They're like amazing. They just sound so awesome, and they're getting a lot of buzz right now, and I think they're going to be one of the next big things. And they're a really great band, and I just love their stuff. So they just put out an EP, and I talked to them a little bit on Instagram on the side, and I said, you guys are definitely going to play Dark Force Fest next year. Like, that'd be my goal. I'd love to get on that bill. Just to play, represent New Jersey and play at Dark Force Fest would be huge,
Dark Force Fest is going to be
that would be a goal for me. That's a goal for me. That's a goal I have. There's not many clubs to play at, unfortunately, anymore. COVID killed a lot of clubs, and QXT's is a great place. And at the Lafayette Bar in Easton at Coven, they do a Coven Dark Wave dance nights. It's really cool. That's where I saw Circuit Preacher. I'd love to play there maybe sometime, but yeah, just really to start playing shows.
When is Dark Fest?
Dark Force Fest is May 2nd to the 4th.
Yeah.
I will be signing. I will be putting in for my PTO for that weekend, John.
Nice.
Because Aesthetic Perfection is also playing. And
oh yeah, definitely. Are you gonna have a table and sell? You gonna sell some stuff, or you just kind of just going as a fan to watch? Okay.
Yeah, we had looked into getting a table last year, but honestly, it's a lot. It's a lot to manage a table, and
I bet.
Do all of that stuff.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
and then it's very difficult to try to bring everything you want to show or showcase in a store.
Yeah, exactly.
If you bring the wrong things, you just wasted your money.
True.
Yeah, it's not cheap to vend there either.
No, I bet. Yeah, and you got to schlep everything there and set everything up.
Yeah, no, it's
a process.
It's me and Danny. It's our vacation for the year.
Nice. That's great.
In Parsippany.
There you go.
Parsippany, New Jersey for the weekend.
Great. That's awesome.
Aim high there, Genevieve.
I'm still holding out. I'm still holding out for the Rain Within to play. That's mine. The Rain Within. That's what I'm hoping for.
Is there anything else that you want to plug, Jay?
I think I nailed it. I mean, I think I pretty much. I hope I did good and didn't offend anyone. You forgot about me. I don't hope I didn't forget about anybody, but. I get a lot of support from my, wife and daughter, which is good.
That's awesome.
Support me, awesome. My friends and stuff, and that's important, too. So, and that's awesome. Basically it.
I'd love to meet them since when I'm there.
Oh yeah, you'll totally. We're gonna come do a ghost tour, definitely. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah, Genevieve will post when they're doing them in December. Great. But we're doing ghost stories that people are gonna come.
Yeah, we're gonna do a ghost story night.
Awesome. I love that.
The Bermuda. New Jersey.
I'll be on the lookout. It's good that I follow you guys and everything too. I get all the hot, leads and everything on everything, which is great.
And guys, I if you haven't checked them out, go on any one of the streaming music venues and hit them up, purchase.
Follow on Instagram.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity. I just want to thank you guys and.
No, it's great.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, no, we want to be very eclectic and, Genevieve listened to your music. It was great. And so I had the opportunity. I listened to it. I think it's great. Listen,
Thank you.
I think that all of this is done for many different reasons, but it's with people that we really like and things that we really enjoy. And we get a chance to do it all together and talk about it. And you know, it's a journey, and whatever journey you want to go on, this is what it is. Because I love doing it. I think I was scared in the beginning, but I love doing it.
It shows. You guys do a great job, and I've watched a lot of your podcasts already, and just
thanks
leading up to this. Yeah, and it's exciting for you guys. And 2 years, that's great. Congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
Many more. Like you got a great shop there. Yeah, I love the town. I love Keyport. We actually almost bought a house in Keyport.
You should have.
We looked, but I kind of fell through. But yeah, we love it there. So
awesome.
We'll definitely
you want to hear? This is something funny to laugh because you said your cat's name is Elvira. I said to Genevieve, "Oh, by the way, I sent a message out to Elvira asking her to be on the podcast, telling her I don't know. I just thought I'd ask."
Great. That's
she hasn't answered. She hasn't looked at it yet, but
I send random things all the time.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm. If I get, I had Tom Shear on my last podcast.
That's awesome.
So I might reach out to him again and just see if he would be on.
That's great. I mean, plug his new album, like when he gets it out, maybe to promote the album and stuff. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that was very difficult to not fangirl out completely.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. That's crazy.
I made my sister join me for that one.
Oh, that's great. That's so cool.
You know, we found out when you had said about Katrina. I mean, I'm a big fan of Katrina's, but I'm a fan of Katrina as a differently and as a person, because I think that she's like, I'm a Broadway person. She's got musical theater background, and we just hit it off.
I love that you guys were talking about that on the podcast too. That's really
she's
cool.
wonderful.
Boy. We have to go see Bat Boy.
Yeah, Bat Boy. Bat Boy. Yes, I don't know if it's still around, but.
So anyway, so we're going to have everybody follow you. And if you have not followed us on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, please follow us as well. Like, follow, share. And your new single will be on Instagram tomorrow.
Yeah, it should be out tomorrow on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. It's called Be Afraid. So yeah, hopefully everybody enjoys it.
Yes.
Awesome. Listen, thank you.
Thank you,
guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jay.
Don't leave, Jay. Don't leave. We're going to end the show, but don't leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
See you next Tuesday.